Hi, an investor recently asked me that we share a lot of research around capex funding by the government in various sectors. What does that mean in terms of long term returns on their investment? So, let me explain. See, when you're talking about returns, you have to follow the money trail, right? So, follow where the money is going. And government has an extremely large budget, out of which government is able to put a lot of capex, and it's the job of the government to improve the infrastructure of the company of the country, sorry. And the reason India was always a high inflation market was primarily a because we didn't have manufacturing capability, right? So we didn't manufacture a lot of things, and secondly, even when we manufactured, the supply chains were messed up, which they are still not fully there, right? So when supply chain and logistics is very expensive, which some estimates say it could be as high as 14% of GDP, when rest of the developed world is around 8% or 7%. So we are paying very heavily, and when things have to be transported from one part of the country to another part of the country, and we had all kinds of bottlenecks including VAT, sales tax, this, that, right? With introduction of GST, those things were sorted out to a large extent. But even then, if your roads are not good, if your infrastructure, railways, etc., is not able to transport smoothly, fast, that increases the cost of logistics, right? So that created supply chain issues, bottlenecks, and inflation. Now the focus of the government in infrastructure is to improve this logistics, to improve roads, railways, waterways, airways, whatever ways are there for transporting goods and people from one part of the country to another part. That's the first thing. Second reason is, if you are going to have a high growth economy, you need a lot of power. So the power sector and those kind of allied infrastructure sectors also matter. And then there is urbanization or housing related infrastructure, right? Because we are a very populous country where a lot of people do not have a proper housing, and there is a huge demand for that. So you need the basic infrastructure at the town planning level, etc., also, so that the housing infrastructure and living smart living infrastructure can be built on that, which is why we focus a lot on this, because in the initial phase this will be created. If the infrastructure is there, then the companies are able to capitalize on them, and the people are able to capitalize by building houses, etc. So private capex, whether corporate capex for B2B purpose, B2C purpose, and consumer capex for housing, etc., can be done with this.